They say that there's no such thing as fate, but I don't trust much of anything that comes from mouths that I can't see or touch. But you got this that I can feel, hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now, got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all. I would ride for you, I would die for you. Under it, but I would lie for you. I'm a mind for you, pay the price for you. Hands tied, I would fight, though I lie for you. Though I lie for you. They say that the only way is up, but I'd rather be down drowning in your blue sea than politicking with the deity. No one else can get me so elevated when we lay low. You can see me through the smoke now, got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all. I would ride for you, I would die for you. Under it, but I would lie for you. I'm a mind for you, pay the price for you. Hands tied, I would fight, though I lie for you. No one else can get me so elevated when we lay low. You can see me through the smoke now, got me feeling like I'm home now. Ride for you, I would die for you. Under it, but I would lie for you. I'm a mind for you, pay the price for you. Hands tied, I would fight, though I lie for you. Though I lie for you. Though I lie for you.
All right, guys. So that was the playthrough of the track. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit differently with this How to Make tutorial course versus a lot of the other How to Make courses on Song Academy. Typically, the format goes, a producer, a DJ has a track, and they've already created it, usually released it, and then they recreate it in the tutorial talking about, their instrument choice and showing you how they played the music and mixing and all that sort of stuff. Now, I love that format. I have another How to Make course on Song Academy Progressive House one, and that was the format that I did. Well, for this one, I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I think this will be really cool, especially for the intermediate and advanced mixers and producers who just struggle with the creative side, because that's one of the harder things, I think, to rein in and master is knowing how to make the right decisions from actually a writing standpoint. Mixing and production are a little bit more black and white in that there's do's and don'ts. You can't have your kick too quiet. You can't have it too loud. Your kick needs to be tuned. You got to be, from a mixing standpoint, vocals need to be centered. There are some steadfast rules, right? But there's a lot of creative areas where you can bend those rules. Well, the creative side of production, I feel like doesn't get showcased enough. And I remember when I started out producing and getting into hip hop, EDM type music, it was 2008, 2009. And I remember watching videos by Ryan Leslie. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's a really cool R&B hip-hop producer. And he was one of the first guys to be like, look, there's a whole market for up-and-coming producers who want to see other producers in the studio. So he kind of marketed them really funny. It'd be like him pulling up to a studio in a really nice car, and he's like all blinged out. And he goes in the studio and he like makes a beat. And these videos are like 20 minutes long, and it literally takes him like no time to make it. And some of them are pretty intricate. And it was this idea, I think that culture, a lot of other people started doing that, like making a beat in an Universal Riot has like make a dubstep drop in 10 minutes, under 10 minutes. And I know that a lot of people, I think, kind of got ingrained in that idea of that, oh crap, I'm really slow, or this is taking a lot longer than it did with person X or Y when I saw their YouTube video. So what we're going to be doing in this tutorial course is we're going to be creating the track that you just heard from scratch. So as I'm talking currently right now on a Wednesday at 3:27, this track hasn't been like some weird Quentin Tarantino type stuff where you just saw the ending of the movie and now it's time to see the events that got there. Now there's a couple things I want to get out of the way in this introduction video. So moving forward, we're all on the same page. The DAW that I'm using is Logic Pro X or Logic X. It looks a little different because I have downloaded a custom theme or skin for it because I get sick of looking at the same thing day in and day out, so sometimes it's nice to refresh it. So that's why it looks a little bit different. Like if you look at the mixer, certain things are a little different. That's all that is. Second thing I want to talk about is just the general process and workflow that this tutorial course is going to take. So I'm going to share with you my personal kind of process and workflow with music production. By no means is this the only way to create music. There's really no wrong way to do it as long as you're getting the results that you want. But maybe seeing my process and seeing someone else actually struggle and then hopefully succeed will show you that that's kind of the ebb and flow of being a creative person and doing music production or being a DJ and trying to create your own music. So I like to section things off into very kind of departmentalized facets of music production. If I don't do that, I get really lost and it will take me a long time to finish a track. It can take me upwards of a month or two. So here's my general process. The first thing I'll do outside of making sure I know how to play and make sure I understand the genre or the type of track that I need to create, that's kind of like step zero. Step one would be to just write something, just get a chord progression going, get a bass line going, get something going and something down. And there are two reasons why I personally think scratch tracking is important. The first is it just gets something going. It gets something down on the screen in front of you. And the second the second reason why I think scratch tracking can be really helpful is it kind of alleviates the pressure a little bit, especially for me personally. So if I sit down and I have a client or I have a track that needs to come out by a certain deadline, I might struggle with the pressure of, oh God, I have to come up with something. I have to create something. And I'm not a really creative person. I'm more of a mathematical person, but we'll that's a digression for a whole nother day. So I'll struggle sometimes with, crap, what do I do? And I'll look for inspiration from a lot of different areas, whether it's other people's music, books, that sort of stuff. But with a scratch track, there's no pressure because I know as long as I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, okay, I'm telling myself this is just a scratch track. If it goes poorly and I create something that sucks, that's fine. I'm only going to spend about 2 or 3 hours doing it, and I can just delete it and scratch the whole thing and then continue on to the next scratch track. And then usually I'll get a good idea. Maybe not the first time, maybe the second time. It might take even 3 times, but I probably will get a good result or something like a cool chord progression, a cool riff. But it helps me to think, okay, this doesn't have to be the finished product. So that's one reason why I think scratch tracking is important. And that's why it's the first step of my whole production process. And once I have a scratch track that I like and I have a rough idea that I think is good, I will then build out the scratch track arrangement. Because what this will allow me to do is, again, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this isn't the finalized product. It's okay if it's still not as good as I want it to be. But I get to hear clearly whether it's going to be a good track, an okay track, or just something that shouldn't ever see the light of day. And that will allow me, once I make that decision, allow me to go on to step 2 or repeat step 1. Now, step 2 involves building up the arrangement and finalizing it. In this step, I'm just writing and I'm just producing. I'm not doing any mixing. And I strongly suggest, if you guys struggle with finishing tracks quickly, adopt this workflow method. I didn't create it. I took it from other people and adopted it and kind of changed it just a little to fit my own needs. But the basic idea is you do your writing and you do your arranging and the production separate from the sound design and separate from the mixing. What this allows you to do is it allows your brain and allows your thoughts to be more organized. If I'm writing, I know I'm gonna have fun. That's my favorite part. My favorite part is just writing stuff, trying different chord progressions, trying different leads, trying different bass lines. That's fun. Now getting it all to fit together into a professionally cohesive sounding mix, that's the hard part. So when I'm doing that part of the process after the scratch track, I'm just playing around, having fun, drinking a coffee, just enjoying life basically. Then once I have something good with the arrangement, the next part of my process is sound design. I'll take a break from the song for maybe a little bit, a few hours or so, or a day, come back and listen with fresh ears, and I'll ask myself, okay, are these sounds really good? Are they cool? Are they fresh and interesting? I get this question all the time being a sound designer and a producer. People ask me, how do I know how to create these sounds and how do I know what will sound cool in a mix? And it just comes down to developing good taste, I guess. There are some sounds that in isolation sound really cool, and there are some sounds that sound great in production, and then there are some types of sounds that sound great in both instances. I think for me, the most important part of a track is getting cool sounds in there. And that I could be biased because I'm a sound designer, but really the only thing that we can do differently, every chord progression's been written, every melody's been written. You can't really do anything brand new. The one thing you can do that's almost brand new is your sound design. The way you use snares, the way you layer sounds, the way you create sounds and synths. That is, to me, where even if someone hates my music, they don't like my song, they can at least say, I do like that sound though, or I think the kick drum or the snare drum was cool, or at least fresh sounding. I just don't want it to sound like a cookie cutter kind of a clone of that genre. So that's the third and kind of fourth step of this process for me, is the sound design after the initial arrangement. Now the fourth, depending on how you're counting, third or fourth, would be mixing. That's when I'll start to mix stuff. And I literally won't even put EQ pretty much on any synth or any sound. I won't do anything to the drums. I won't do anything to most of the lead synths until I get to that stage of mixing. And this just makes the whole process go so much quicker. So I just wanted to give you just a quick, rough idea of how this course is going to go. So we're going to start out with writing the track. We're going to then arrange the track and arrange the ideas and produce it, do the sound design. The final thing we're going to be doing is the mixing. So thank you guys for deciding to check out this course. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm Echo Soundworks. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this course. I'll see you in the next section.